Hi, welcome back. I've been away for a little bit. It's been about a month as of right now as I'm filming this. Since I uploaded, I have a little bit of a story time to tell you. We're just gonna talk. I'll give you an intro and then I'll give you like a little backstory as to what happened, or you can skip it. Maybe you don't care. I just want to entertain you somehow, some way. So we're just gonna get into everything. Okay? So I'm just gonna start off with what this video is about, and then we can get into like my mini tangent. You can skip it. I'll put in a time bar, whatever, when you want to skip it to. So this video is gonna be more like books that people were talking about so much that I thought that I trusted people's guidance, and I was like, okay, well, if you guys say that it's good enough, people are gonna convince me to read it, I'll read it. And then I was just left kind of like, that was not what I thought you guys said it was gonna be. So I'm like disappointed and frankly more or less sad because I expected something great and I got something more or less okay. I've been gone for like 43 days. What's happened? Okay, so I went out of the country immediately, unexpectedly. Family matters. And then just going through some stuff right now, and I thought best to distract myself. So I got back on Friday, it's Tuesday, and I'm sitting down here making a video. I got back Saturday actually, never mind. Anyways, so I had filmed a video in advance to kind of edit, and I was planning on doing, it's just time got away and I didn't have time for anything. So I was gonna edit my video and I did a little bit, and then I put my laptop down for 5 days, never touched it, didn't do anything to it. Won't charge, won't turn on, won't do anything. So now that I'm back, I have to go to the Apple store sometime this week so they can either tell me it's dead I don't know when you're gonna be seeing this video. It's currently September 18th. Let's hope we get it within the month. We get this video out within the month. And I've just got a whole lot of things to film and a whole lot of things I want to talk about. If you're wondering what I'm reading, I'm reading, but I'm not reading in at a normal amount. Just going through some things, okay? Working my way through them, and I'm not in a headspace to be reading. Like, I want to read, but like I get so distracted. I have literally, I'm not gonna call it a DNF, but technically I have multiple books just because like I'm just not paying attention. So that's where I am right now. Anyway, we're just gonna move on. Just telling you what's going on, you know, getting it out there. Let's just get into the video. Okay, welcome back. Hello if you skipped. So yeah, we're just gonna be talking about like some books that I was disappointed in based on the discourse that I heard that was like, yo, this is good, and it just was like, okay. So I have what I feel like are gonna be some controversial picks on my part, and I just want to tell you what I'm thinking, and I want to discuss these things, and I want to get some insight maybe as to what, if you disagree, like tell me, and like I can get your viewpoint as to why I'm an idiot and why I'm wrong. Okay, I think we're gonna go in the way that I read these. So we're starting off strong with the Inheritance games. A few videos ago I actually said that I wanted to reread these, and now it's on this list as well. It applies both because I do want to reread these, but I did have a disappointed mindset after reading them. So basically the Inheritance games, this one's first, is about this girl Avery who basically, she doesn't have much money, but you know, she's trying to work through it, go to college and get a scholarship and everything. When one day she receives like a phone call basically telling her that this billionaire has left her his entire fortune. So the rule to the inheritance was that she had to move into the house with his entire family still living in there, and just basically solve his puzzles that he left behind and go from there. So it's a mystery. She's trying to find out her connection to Tobias Hawthorne, which is the man who left her all the money, like what he was thinking, why he gave her all of this money for no reason, since she does not know this man in any way, shape, or form, and just try to survive this whole dynamic of this family kind of being like, yeah, stole our inheritance. What the hell? But yeah, so the way I feel like I was introduced to this book was that it was gonna be a great mystery series. You know, I had read the kind of synopsis beforehand and it reminded me of Knives Out, and I think maybe that's why I was kind of disappointed. I was expecting something different than what I had already watched on film in movies, in a movie. And it just reminded me too much of it, and I just, my fault, but you know, I just felt like it was a repeat of a story that I had already heard before. But I read this, I want to say, in like 2022. From what I remember, you know, the first one I was like disappointed in it. The second one was actually, wait, this is out of order, I just realized, sorry. The second one, which is the Hawthorne Legacy, was more interesting than the rest, than the first one. It was just diving into like more things, and when I finished it, I felt like it should have ended there. When I started reading the last one, I was really pushing myself to like finish it, so that's just another, you know, tidbit. But there is another book that I haven't read. I've thought about it. I have no idea what it's about. I think it's just the Hawthorne brothers, I think. The brothers Hawthorne, I don't remember. But there is another one, so maybe I'll read that. No idea yet. But yeah, that's just what I thought about the Inheritance games. But at some point, I think I do want to revisit at least the first two, just to kind of, you know, just for fun. I forgot to include this, so I'm just going to put this back in here. But I just want to say that the Inheritance games was a 3 out of 5 star read as a book series for me. And yeah, let's just get back in the video. Next on this list is The Alchemist. I read this book originally in Spanish class, and I didn't, you know, wasn't that interested in it. And then my dad read it and he was like, oh, you read The Alchemist. Long story short, it's actually a really famous book. A lot of people have read it, a lot of famous people have read it, a lot of people talk about it, sold millions and millions of copies, and people just find it to be a very inspirational story, and they take it to heart. Basically, it's the story about Santiago. He's a shepherd, and he kind of leaves behind his job to find a treasure, and I believe they call it like a personal legend. Basically, you know, he's trying to find the treasure, and he's going through multiple obstacles to get him to the end of where he wants to be, you know? Okay, a lot of people talk about this book. A lot of people say it's great. By the end of this book, was so frustrated. It really pissed me off. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This book made me mad. Not made me mad because it was like a terrible book, but made me mad because of the character. He didn't do anything bad, just like the things that happened to him. I was like, but, you know, yeah. But I would say it's like one of those, like, you know, it's like an inspirational book because it's telling you, like, if you choose to like really take this to heart, it's basically saying like you could be on your way to, say you want to do something. My camera just cut me off. What the heck? But what was I saying? But basically what this is telling you is that if you're on your way to trying to achieve your goal, life is gonna put so many obstacles in your way, and usually when you're like literally about to give up, like the next thing that you have to overcome is when you're gonna get your goal. You know, it's just trying to tell you that just have some patience and eventually you'll get to where you need to be and you can have anything you want. I haven't read this in a while, more or less. That's what I took away from it. But it frustrated me, and that's just like a book that I thought was gonna be, I don't want to say better, but like more impactful than what it was to me, since so many people talk about this book. It, you know, I was just not impacted in the way that I thought I was gonna be impacted, more or less. You know what I mean? Okay, hi again. I just also have to insert this again, but The Alchemist was a 3.4 out of 5 star read for me. Okay, so another book that is a really controversial one, and this is only because of myself. I have myself to blame. This is nobody else's issue besides mine. But the Song of Achilles was another one that I was disappointed in. Again, my fault. Before, literally, I don't even know how this lined up, but before I read the Song of Achilles, I had watched Troy. Literally, a few days before. The Song of Achilles is a retelling of the Iliad, and Troy is also about the Iliad. So Patroclus, Achilles, from this book, and from the Iliad, were in Troy. So basically, I got another version of this story in Troy and in the Song of Achilles. You see what went wrong here? Yeah. Troy presented things in a different manner. I think it was just the issue of that I had seen this before in a different way, and then this was when, because I didn't know this was a retelling of the Iliad. I thought it was based on characters like in the Iliad, maybe? I have no idea. But if I had known that it was a retelling of the Iliad, I would have read the Iliad first. Hence why I have the Odyssey and Circe. Circe is down here. Because I want to read the Odyssey before I read Circe. Because it's kind of like based on a character in the Odyssey. So I just want to, you know, get my background information first. More or less what I thought about it was that it could have been a little bit shorter. But I overall enjoyed it. So based on everything that just happened to me while reading the Song of Achilles, I gave it a 3.4 out of 5 stars. 3.7 out of 5. I don't know why I said 3. Not bad. 3.7 out of 5. Would recommend, I think. I have to reread this too. I feel like I should dive back into the books that I'm unsure of just to get like a, you know, a real standing on, you know, I'm grounded, but like I have room for change. So we can go back to this in the future. Like the Song of Achilles, you know what? I'm gonna say I was disappointed in this. I could say it was my fault, but overall, you know what? I don't think so. I'm defending myself here. So, and then there were none by Agatha Christie. Was the first Agatha Christie book that I read. It's a mystery, murder mystery. It's about this group of people who get invited to this island and nobody knows who invited them. And obviously, one by one, start killing them. Everyone talks about this book. It's one of the most, if not the most famous Agatha Christie book. So I was expecting like a lot of suspense, which I got, but towards the end, and this is where it's a little bit my fault, I neglected to read the last 7 pages. So when I thought it ended on a cliffhanger, and that, oh, I love cliffhangers. And I love kind of like, you know, trying to find out who killed everyone, you know? Like, the way that this would have ended and the way I read it would have been like mind-blowing. Literally, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my god, like I want to know, but like this is so good because it's like a mystery and like I'll never know. I actually have a video on this. It's like it's the first video that I ever recorded, but it's my second upload. And I feel like I haven't gone back to watch those, but I feel like the editing would have been super rough, so sorry for that. I just feel like the reveal was underwhelming from what I thought the ending was. My fault again. You know, the ending was an ending. I can't say much else on that. It was just something that happened and something I read. So in the end, I gave this a 3.3 out of 5 stars. Another controversial one, and I feel like this one, if not the Song of Achilles, is one of the most loved books. So let's talk about it, because I could talk about this book for a really long time, and if you want a spoiler review as to why I was disappointed in this, I have one. It's in, I think it's in my Normal People / Yellowface video. I'll link it. But I had a lot of problems with it. Oh, Normal People. Yeah, Normal People. This one, oh god, this one. Listen, you don't know, Normal People is a romance book about Connell and Marianne. Basically, they start off in high school or whatever. Sorry, whatever it is in England. I'm sorry, we're from England. High school? School grade, you know. They know each other. They're kind of like hooking up, but Connell's embarrassed of her. He's really popular, she's not. And it's just kind of like a status thing that he prefers not to be associated with her when, you know, they be doing things in private, but whatever. And basically when they go off to college, the structure of the relationship changes. They're still in contact, they go to the same school. A lot of the problems that I have with this book, and this is, I feel like, represented like such a good romance book, just like a personal like view of relationships and how they turn out. You know, normal people is in the title, it's just like an everyday relationship. But the problems that I had, not just like as a couple, but as people, as separate characters, was so much. I found Connell to be a complete asshole, and Marianne, I just wanted so much more from Marianne. I had a lot of problems with Connell, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hated Connell. He got a little bit better, but like, you know, I still didn't like him. There were things that, you know, were in these characters' heads. Like, there was things that he was thinking, and like, I just had so many issues. And then the structure, listen, I like the writing style, I like Sally Rooney's writing style. The only thing I can just say, so if you don't know, this book has no quotation marks. It was pretty easy to figure out who was talking. It wasn't like a big deal for me to figure that out, but it's kind of in a setup where you're with these characters for one chapter, and then in the next chapter it'll say 3 months later, or a certain amount of time, weeks later, days later. So you're missing like a big chunk of time, and I needed to see more aspects of their relationship that were shown in the book, more or less, for me to like really change my mind about this couple, because I have very strong feelings about this. And yeah, this is a personal issue. Is it? No, it's not a personal issue. I read what was there. Maybe it's like an opinion thing, opinion wise. A lot of people like this book, they really do. I just was not one of them in any way, shape, or form. And it took me a little while to get into. I found it interesting at points, but overall, what can I say? I wasn't happy. I didn't get what the people were talking about. I've read all sorts of reviews after I finished the book. I usually do this with like any books that I read. I feel one way, I want to get a kind of view as to what somebody else says and what they think. But in the end, I still stand with what I say. And I gave this a 3.3 out of 5 stars. But thinking back on it, my experience reading this book and the show, I didn't finish it. I couldn't. Yeah, sorry. 3.3 out of 5. You know, I feel like all of the books that I mentioned are really popular, and these last two are no different. Yeah, all of these have a video if you want to see those. All of them like spoiler videos, I feel like. My videos are spoiler videos, what am I saying? But I have a video basically about all of these books except the Inheritance Games and the Alchemist. So if you want like spoiler reviews or getting a deeper insight as to what I thought, you can check those out. They're on my channel. But this next one, these next 5 actually, because it's a series, was the Heartstopper series. All 5 of them. I get that this was a YA book series, so it's about Nick and Charlie, all 5 of them, because originally I thought they were like different people, but it's just all Nick and Charlie, and about their relationship and their love story and the problems that come up, and you know, more or less how they address them. It's very YA. It was not made for my age range in any way, and I knew it was YA, I just didn't think it was so YA. It was explaining things that I already knew. So again, for a younger audience, this is great because you're gonna get a lot of explanations as to things you might not know about. So as I was reading them, I could tell that they were made for a significantly younger audience than the person who was reading it. And listen, made for a younger audience, I took that into account, but I just feel like it would have been great if they dove deeper into the problems and like situations that came up in these books. There were, I'm not gonna spoil anything, you can check out the video if you want to see that, but I just would have loved if they, you know, they what's it called, they scratched the surface, but I wanted you to go a little bit deeper, you know, because there was room to go deeper. On the other hand, I really liked the art style. Art style was great. It was beautiful. Loved it. Overall, as a series, besides the last book that's coming out soon, I believe. I gave the whole series a collective 3 out of 5 stars. Because I actually really do love the couple, and I love them so bad. But I was just wanting them to go deeper with everything. But overall, pretty good. Just not what I expected when I went into it. I was expecting something a little more deep. I've said that a few times, but you know what I mean. I'm not sure how many times I've dissed this next book, but you're gonna see me diss them again. It's Caraval. I was so excited for this book when I started reading it. So Caraval is about Scarlet and Donatella, but mostly Scarlet. She's this girl who's from this island, and her dad's abusive, and she's gonna get into an arranged marriage, but she's written to Legend. His name is Legend. He's this guy who runs Caraval, which is like a carnival festival kind of game type of situation. So basically, Legend has magic. He can possess it. He can do a whole lot of stuff with it, and every year he has this carnival fair type of situation where people can come to play, if they're invited by Legend himself, to play a game. And basically, if one person wins this game, they get a wish granted. So Scarlet has been writing to Legend wanting to participate in these games for a really long time, and before, you know, she's about to get married, she gets a letter from Legend inviting her to play in his games. And now that we got that out of the way, I was expecting more magic and more substance, I suppose. I was under the impression that this was going to be heavily magic focused, and I was going to get to learn about their magic system, and from what I read, it was really interesting, and I definitely wanted to see more of that, but there wasn't enough of that to keep me interested. Frankly, the characters, for me, were bland. I really didn't care about any of the characters. Even the main character, I found her annoying. I found everyone in this book to be, you know, just not my favorite. And honestly, if you don't have a likable character in your book, that's just not good, especially your main character being one of them. Like, if, you know, obviously your character can be not a good person, that makes for really good character analysis, but I just wasn't interested in the story enough and couldn't rely on the characters to keep me interested. But I pushed through and I finished it, and that was a choice to make. And unfortunately for me, mid-book, I was like, I never read just one of a series, which I don't even know why I base my claims on that, because really I haven't read that many series, but I did buy Legendary and Finale, which are book 2 and 3 out of this, and I did attempt Legendary right after I finished this, I believe, and I just couldn't do it. But at one point we are gonna go back to those, because I refuse to have books that I haven't read, that I don't plan on reading. I have a lot of books that I haven't read. There was a twist in this book, but again, I didn't care that much. My bad. I wanted more magic. What can I say? I just want more magic. And a better character, I suppose. The second one is about her sister Donatella, but still wasn't that interested in it. In the end, I gave Caraval a 2.8 out of 5-star rating. So those are all of the books that I heard great things about, and for me just weren't to the standard that I thought they were going to be. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what I wanted to talk about today, and hopefully this video can get up in a timely manner this month, hopefully. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have another one up for you super soon. So thanks for watching the video, thanks for checking it out, and take a look at the channel, see if there's anything you like. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.